gotten an opportunity to talk much Cavaliers basketball recently. It's been up and down. They've had a couple of wins, couple of bad losses, and bringing our Cavs blogger, Darius Sefna, here on the show. And Darius, talk a little bit about so far the first week now under JB Bickerstaff. You've had a nice win last week, then a brutal loss in Miami, but you're seeing some improvements in areas that we didn't see just a couple of months ago.
Oh, no doubt about it, Tony. First of all, good morning. Thanks for having me. This week has definitely been a great week if you're a Cavs fan. Let's exclude that February 22nd loss this past Saturday against Miami, because that second quarter for the Cavs, it just was a complete mess. They were outscored 44-20, and the Heat just never looked back from there. What was big for me was on Monday when the Cavs were back at home, and they were able to come back. If you recall, the score at the end of the third quarter in that game against the Heat on Monday was 99-80 in favor of Miami. The Cavs outscore the Heat 31-12 in the fourth quarter to force overtime, where they outscored the Heat by 6. And here's what stands out to me even more, Tony. The fact that no one really had to have an off-the-charts night to be able to pull the Cavs to victory. Their highest scorer was Kevin Porter Jr. with 30 points in 41 minutes. Kevin Love had 17, Andre Drummond and Darius Garland combined for 27. And what I liked with JB Bickerstaff is the players he kept on the floor in that game against the Heat that were taking care of business. He kept them on. If we went back to the days of John Beilein, that may have not been the case. So that's really one coaching strategy I like to see from JB Bickerstaff. And then Wednesday, another big win against the Sixers. I know Joel Embiid left the game early with some neck or back issues, it looks like. But the Cavs, here's the big stat that really rings out to me. Total rebounds, the Cavs out-rebound the Sixers 49-32. We're talking about a Sixers team who is designed to be big and dominate the paint. The fact that the Cavs were able to out-rebound them really says a lot. I know the Sixers didn't have Joel Embiid, but still you've got guys like Tobias Harris and Al Horford. Again, another big win that really stood out for me for the Cavs this past week. They have a tough upcoming schedule, but after tonight against the Pelicans in New Orleans, their next 5 games will be at home, so we'll see what they have to offer.
Darius Sefna on with us, student at Nordonia High School, but wise above his years when it comes to covering and talking a little bit about Cavaliers basketball. One guy to really keep an eye on for a lot of folks out there is Kevin Porter Jr., and there's a lot of hype coming from him when the Cavs ended up acquiring him and watching him grow throughout the season. And I know a lot of Cavs fans were going, when is this kid going to start? When is he going to get this playing time? And I think he's really turning some heads, not just around Cleveland and not just around Cavs land, but around the NBA, too, as being one of the young up-and-comers in the league.
Oh, no doubt about it, Tony. And I would say out of the draft class of the Cavs specifically, Kevin Porter Jr. has probably been the most consistent of those 3 picks. Dylan Windler hasn't played at all. Darius Garland at the beginning of the season was very up and down, very inconsistent. Now he's starting to find his rhythm. But once Kevin Porter Jr. put on an NBA uniform, he was ready to go from day one. Consistent, averaging about around 15 points a game, was really that spark off the bench, and now he's going to be even more of a spark, especially with Jordan Clarkson out of that bench rotation. And, he just showed you, in that game against the Heat, 30 points in 41 minutes. That was a fantastic performance by him. He was hitting threes, and he has a very versatile game. He can drive in the paint, and, he makes his free throws. So, and overall, and he's left-handed, so left-handed players are much harder to guard as well. So overall, for Kevin Porter Jr., really like his game. I'm wondering if he can take it to that next level and possibly get a starting position, especially with the uncertainty of Kevin Love in these next few years.
Last question I'll ask you, Darius, is Collin Sexton is now, he's almost 2 full seasons in the league, and I haven't seen a player who it scores a lot of points and does a lot of things well, doesn't do everything well, and there's a lot of brain lapses, but I've seen a lot of criticism over somebody like Collin Sexton that it almost seems unwarranted talented, but a lot of players are just, I don't know, is he not a great teammate? Is he not learning at the pace that a lot of folks want him to? Explain a little bit of the criticism that we've seen from the folks out of Collin Sexton.
Yeah, Tony, I see what you're talking about. I definitely don't think Collin Sexton is a terrible teammate in any way. You always see him positive on the court. You always see him positive in the post-game interviews. He was a member of the Cavs last year, so he's really one of the players who's been through this tumultuous rebuild. Last year they went 19-63. This year they're 17-41. So there's been a lot of losing for Collin Sexton. I think the reason individuals are complaining about him, if they are, it's the fact that he does need to work on not holding the ball as much. He's someone who needs the ball in his hands to be successful, and in today's modern NBA game, that's just not the way to go. We saw a few months ago Kevin Love getting frustrated when Collin Sexton was just holding the ball at half court in the offensive set. So therefore, if there's anything that Collin Sexton needs to work on, Tony, it's the fact that he needs to start passing the ball a little bit more. But outside of that, he's a great player, extremely fast. He can go up the court in a matter of seconds. Yeah, definitely more of the passing and assists that I would work on in terms of, for Collin Sexton.
Right, thanks so much for joining us. I'll talk to you next week. I'll be filling in for Ray once again, so I will talk to you. We'll see how the Cavaliers do against the Pelicans and the Pacers this weekend. Thanks so much, Darius. Have a good weekend.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tony.